Hello and welcome to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I am the maker behind this channel, and this is my, little corner of the internet where I like to talk about yarny things, mostly knitting, mostly socks. But today I actually have a blanket to share with you. I also have a garment to share with you. Like, who even am I, right? Yeah, so I hope you're here for it. I think there's a lot of new faces here. Thank you so much for being here. Lisa of Knit All the Yarn podcast mentioned me in her newest episode yesterday, and now I just have like a bunch of new faces. So hi, Lisa, and thank you for gracing this channel with your influence. And if you are here because of Lisa's channel, oh my gosh, can you tell me? Can you just like give a shout out to Lisa in the comments? Because I'm sure she would also like to know how many of y'all are here because of her recommendation, So I am not really feeling it today. I gotta be honest with you. I have an idea of why I'm not really feeling like recording, but yeah, I'm like not in the mood to edit anything. I am feeling kind of meh about a lot of projects except for one, but I decided to sit and talk about it anyway because this is a part of the process. Like, yes, I'm excited about all the things. Like, yes, I love sock knitting. Yes, all the things. But also there are definitely days where I'm like, and I feel like that's, worth mentioning too. And if you are also feeling meh about certain things, you're in good company. So I am not going to do an intro thing. I'm just going to say, Therapy by Craft, welcome here. Welcome or welcome back. And then we're just going to jump right into all the things. I have two finished projects to share with you. One of them is a sock and one of them is not. I'll share the not sock one first because that's actually what was off my needles first. So I made some leg warmers for my little girl. This was knit in Simply Sock Yarn Co.'s Splash Sock Base, and it was part of their birthday yarn club. And this is the last Splash Sock that I had in my stash, and this is the only one that I hadn't worked up yet. But this is another palindromic colorway where it's the same backwards and forwards. So I'm gonna line it up like this. You can see that that lines up, and then if I flip it, it also lines up. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I'm like, oh, here's another one. Yes, so I made this in two different needle sizes. I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle for the cuffs, and then I used a US 3 for the body or the leg of the leg warmers. I think I did 20 rounds of 2x2 for the top and then 15 for the bottom. And then I did 64 stitches. So I kind of made it like a ginormous sock. And it helped because I had a sock going while I was trying to measure Sam's legs. So she's 5 years old. And I noticed that if I put one of my socks on her, it goes like to her knees and it fits really well. I did 80 rows and that gave her, yeah, like a really cute slouch. Yeah, I think that's it about like the specs anyway. It was an enjoyable knit. It was really quick. And it wasn't until I was working on it that I realized that I was going to have to do a bind off, like a stretchy bind off, because, I'm not going to be Kitchenering the bottom cuff the way that I would like the toes for a sock, right? So I seized the opportunity. And decided to try out different stretchy bind off methods. I don't know what it was about the Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy bind off, but I just I tried it with a crochet hook before a long time ago. I tried to do it kind of loosely. I don't know, maybe there's a part of me that's pretty like anti or something, but because everybody was using it, I was like, I don't want to use it. I want to try something else. So I have been on the lookout for a stretchy bind off that I can use for socks that was not the Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy bind off. So I used this project as an opportunity to try out different stretchy bind offs to see if there was one that I would really like. One of the ones that I used was, I think it's called the Lori's Twisty bind off. So there's no like yarn over or reverse yarn over or anything like that involved like there is for the Jenny Stretchy bind off. For that one, you literally just kind of like twist the needle in a specific direction depending on what stitch you're binding off. And it's supposed to leave a bind off that's stretchy and very little to no flaring. And I would agree. It's still stretchy. There is not a lot of flaring. It's definitely not as stretchy as, you know, the cast on. I do the, is it the German twisted cast on or the Norwegian twisted cast on? But it's a twisty cast on and it's very, very stretchy. But you can tell the difference here that there is a little flaring, and when I stretch it out, I do feel it catch a little bit. So I imagine that it could be a little bit uncomfortable if it's tight on the calf area. So for the second sock, I decided to try the, what is it called? Like the standard stretchy bind off or the classic stretchy bind off or something like that. That's where you either knit two together through the back loop or you purl two together depending on, again, like what stitch you're binding off, but it adds like a little extra loop in there so that the bind off will be really stretchy. And it was very stretchy, but it also flared like nothing I've ever seen before. It looked like a little flower. It was just like, bloop. It just, wow. It looked like it could be a part of the ocean, like a little sea anemone or something. I don't know. That's actually false. That's not what sea anemones look like. But anyway, it just looked like a creature of sorts. It just didn't look very good. So I ripped it out. I had like sewn in all of my ends and everything. I had been so good. And I like tucked in my tails. I like snipped all of my ends, but it just was atrocious. It looked really bad. So I ripped it out and I went and did the Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy bind off. Like I ended up just doing it. And what I didn't use a crochet hook. I used my needle. And the thing that helped me was to, so what you do is depending on if it's a knit stitch or a purl stitch that you're casting off, you either do a backwards yarn over or you do a regular yarn over. And you're supposed to pass that yarn over and the previous stitch over, like the newest stitch that you knit or purl. And previously I used a crochet hook. It kind of worked, but I think it made it a little loose. So there was more flaring than I would have liked. And then when I tried doing it with needles and I tried to pass the two stitches over, like the yarn over and the previous stitch over at the same time, it got really finicky. I would lose stitches and I would get really frustrated. But this time I passed over, like I did the pass over one at a time. So I did the yarn over part first and then the previous stitch next after that. And when I did it that way, it was slower, but it went faster because I wasn't losing stitches and I wasn't getting frustrated. So I did it, I caved, and I get why it's a popular bind off. I really do. This is what it looks like. And it is very stretchy. This is the cast on and it's pretty much the same. And what was great about this is after I bound off, I tried it on my foot to see if it would go over my heel, and it does. It feels comfortable on my cuff or on my calf. So yeah, I think that was the way to go, and I get it now and blah, 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 blah. But I went through the potentially unnecessary heartache. Well, it's not unnecessary. It was necessary for me. It was a necessary part of my process. But I went through all of that, and I can report back to you and say that yes, Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off is indeed surprisingly stretchy, and I would recommend it. And that's what I think I want to do when I do toe-up socks. And I do want to try toe-up socks. I think maybe in 2025, I want to try that because I think it'll be a good way to use up sock yarn, like scraps, a little bit better, and to use all of the yarn, especially now that I know the shadow wrap heel. That heel is an amazing heel. It is a magical heel because it's the same whether you're working cuff down or toe up. So, you know, with the heel flap and gusset, I don't think it works toe up. I haven't seen it worked toe up. I think the Flegel heel can be worked toe up, but not the heel flap and gusset. So I'm really glad that the shadow wrap heel does allow for some versatility, and maybe that's something that I'll tackle in 2025. We shall see. But yes, leg warmers for my daughter. She really likes them. I really like them. I can definitely see myself knitting more. I started these on November 7th and I finished it November 11th. They do not match. Oh, and this made my mama heart so happy. I asked Sam, because, you know, I like fraternal socks, but maybe she doesn't. So I asked her if she wanted me to make her leg warmers matching exactly, or if she was okay with them mismatching a little bit. And she said, oh, I like it when it's mismatched, Mama. It's really fun. I was like, yeah, I know. So that was really cute. And in case there was any doubt that she was my kid, like that really solidified it for me. So that was fun. But yes, leg warmers for Sam. I do have a Ravelry projects page for all of the projects that I make. So if you are curious about the numbers or you missed it, then you can go down to my little description area and I will have links to all of that down below. Okay, the next and the final finished object I have to share with you is another something for Sam, which are her pair of socks. Yay, her little Dunkaroo socks. Isn't he cute? And you can see my little pop color at the cuff there. So these are Sam's Dunkaroo Pop is what I'm calling them, socks. This is sock number 45 for the year. I made these with US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I use a 32-inch fixed ChowGoo red lace circular needle to do all of my socks on Magic Loop. The yarn is by the Frosted Stitch. I think it's her Snowflake sock or something like that, but it's in her colorway Dunkaroo from her, I think, Millennial collection. But it looks just like the Dunkaroo. You know what I'm talking about? The little kangaroo, and you have a little graham cracker or whatever, and then you like dip it into, I don't know, it's literally a sugar paste with sprinkles on it, but it's like sugar dipped in sugar. But it is very accurate to that very nostalgic snack that we had growing up. I was inspired to make these. I don't know if inspired is the right word. Can I say I inspired myself? Maybe. But I had done a video last week, I think, about how I do my fraternal socks, and I'd shared some ideas for what you could do for fraternal socks. And one of the ideas I gave was to do a pop of color, like a different pop of color. And as I was talking about that and I was preparing for that video, it dawned on me that I actually haven't done that yet. I make a lot of fraternal socks, but I haven't done the pop of color thing quite yet. And I wanted to, and I was like, that's a really easy way to do a fraternal pair, because all you have to do is just really start the sock. And then I think I only did, so I cast on and I did 1 row, I think is what I did. And that was it. And then the socks were ready to go. So it was very simple. I just did that little bit of the fraternal thing in the very beginning, and the rest of it was just plain vanilla. My daughter is 5 years old, like I mentioned before, and she is currently in between shoe sizes, like toddler 9, toddler 10, but she loves this color. So I wanted to make her some socks that she could wear for a long time. I cast on 56 stitches, which is more than I usually cast on for her. I usually cast on 52 stitches for her socks, but I don't know if you guys remember, she had complained a little bit about her socks not like going on her foot comfortably. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just make the socks a little bit larger. So I did 56 stitches. I did a heel flap and gusset instead of my beloved shadow wrap heel, because when, what I noticed is that she can actually wear them longer. Because for a heel flap and gusset, yeah, the heel can go right here, but I had made her socks with a heel flap and gusset last year, and her heel actually sits on the heel flap when she wears them. So it's kind of more like this, and it's fine. She actually wears them comfortably, and yeah, it's actually fine. So in a way, I feel like she gets an extra inch or so of wear from the sock because of that heel flap, which kind of pains me to say because I don't want to make more heel flap and gusset socks, but she loves this yarn. I know that this is going to be a sock that she will wear all the time, and I want her to be able to wear it more than a year. So yeah, I did it for her. I did it. Yeah, the cuff is 12 rounds of 2x2. I did 30 rounds for the leg, heel flap and gusset, and 50 rounds for the foot before doing the toe. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all there is to say about that. No, that's a lie. I started these November 11th and I finished them on November 16th. So these were a pretty quick knit, and I like it. I like that I used sort of like a muted fall colors. This is actually a part of my chunky cuff fraternal socks that I am making for fall. Because there's so many like neon pops in here, I wanted to do more of like a muted color, and I am very, very happy with my choices because this like muted teal is in here, and this muted mustardy color is also like part of the color family. So yes, very happy with these. Okay, so let's move on and talk about whips. You know, I do like all the socks that I'm working on, but I have to be honest, I feel a little bit like, ugh, about it. Maybe I'll pause here and tell you about why I'm feeling meh today. Okay, so advents have come in. I have, well, one advent, which is the Purple Circle Yarn Co. advent, that already came in like last month, and I couldn't wait to work with it, so I already caked up the first 8 days of the advent, and I am making socks with them. Because it's not even December yet, I'm not going to show you. I don't want to spoil it for you, and I'm still working on it, and yeah, like it is what it is. So I'm not going to show that today, but stay tuned because as soon as December 8th comes and goes, I will show you what those socks are looking like. They are cute, so I will say that. But there's other... But I got another advent. It is the Dragon Horde yarn. And is it Yarn Cafe Creations? I don't know. It's like a duo. I think it's a mom and daughter duo. But they have their last Harry Potter advent this year. And I haven't gotten any of the other ones. So this year I really, really wanted to do it. I also have advent. I have an advent that I'm working through from last year, which is the McMullin Fiber Co. advent. So just kind of being around advents, I wanted to give us sock knitters some ideas for how we can use our advents for socks, because I don't want to knit another blanket with my advent. I'm kind of sick of seeing like advent shawl patterns or, you know, like more blanket stuff. Like, no knock on blankets, no knock on shawls, honestly, but I want to see more ideas for socks. So I sat down over the weekend, wrote out some notes, and 24, right? Like the 24 mini, or the advents with the 24 minis, that's like such a beautiful number, because 24 is divisible by so many numbers, like so many numbers. So as sock knitters, I feel like we have some pretty, like there's a lot of good potential there, you know, but no one's really tapped into that yet. So I sat down, made a list of ideas that people can use for sock knitting with their advents, and I even recorded it. But because it was so number heavy, like I literally went down the list of like, okay, if you want one pair of socks or two socks, then this is what you could do, blah, 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 blah. If you want 2 pairs of socks, this is what you could do. If you want 3 pairs of socks, this is what you can do. And when I went back to edit that video, or at least play it back and watch it over again, I was so bored. It was so uninspiring. It was like the whole Charlie Brown, like, wah, 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 wah. Like that's how it felt to me watching me talk. And I was like, well, I am not putting this out there in the world. It is not inspiring at all. I don't want to listen to myself. It's just boring because I'm just talking about numbers. And so I think what I'm going to do, I still want to share with you my ideas, and I do think they're great ideas, but I don't think they're ideas I want to talk through. I think I just want to show it to you. So I might do a slide, or if I don't have a slide because I'm feeling that, then I'll at least put in the description box below the ideas that I had. I'll also share it on my Instagram. You can find me on Instagram as Therapy by Craft. I don't know if I will have that up the same day that this video goes live, because again, I'm feeling a little meh and unmotivated. I think I was just discouraged watching that video. I was like, I don't like it. So that was a bit of a bummer, because the idea was very exciting, but the execution was meh. So I am going to give you the info. It's just not going to be in the way that I had intended to give it to you. And I'm just going to take my time with giving it to you guys, because December ain't here yet. So it'll be up before December 1st. But yeah, just bear with me. Just bear with me. But anyway, back to socks and my works in progress, actually. I don't want to share all of the socks that I've been working on, because a lot of them are just like the same, and I haven't made enough progress on it or really done anything different. This is gonna look pretty much the same. But I will show you what my second pair of McMullin Fiber Co yarn is looking like. That's being housed in my beautiful bag by, I think, Tanay Fiber. Oh, by Tanay Casey. Oh, cute. Oh, it's so bright. There we go. It's blown up. But anyway, that's her. I love this bag. It is the perfect size for me to put lots of minis inside. And yeah, that's been great. Okay. Here is what that's looking like right now. I put all of my like pinky hues together. And I think at this point, all 8 colors are in here. These socks, I am actually knitting on a 1.5, a US 1.5 or a 2.5 millimeter needle. That's the size up from the usual needle size that I use. I also went down to 56 stitches instead of my usual 64. And I did that because the yarn that I'm working with is a 2-ply yarn, very plump, very fluffy. And when I use a US 1 and do 64 stitches with the 2-ply yarn, I found that my hands hurt. It ain't pleasant. So I'm trying a different gauge of fabric to see if that helps. I am happy to report that it is more pleasant to do the 2-ply yarn in a 1.5, a US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needle. I am very happy about that. I don't like these needles. These are Addie's, I think. I'm waiting for the ChiaoGoo red lace needles to come into my local yarn shop. But for now, I'm using the ones that I had, and I don't love them. I'm so used to my ChiaoGoo red lace needles. So, you know, that's that. And I'm doing 5 round stripes, but kind of sandwiching or like interrupting each 5, interrupting the color with another color and sort of staggering it so that I don't have too many ends to weave in. I don't know how helpful this is gonna be, but this is what my inside looks like. I'm carrying the yarn up at least once. Is this helpful at all? I feel like it's not. But maybe for those of you guys with a very keen eye, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what you did there. I assigned a number to the 8 minis that I'm using for this sock. And you can check out my Ravelry page. See, I did that. Like I assigned a number and I just clipped it to the outside of the yarn. And you can check out my Ravelry page if you are interested in seeing like what I'm doing with this sock in particular, because I don't have the bandwidth to really go into depth about my plan for this and how I'm doing it. Once it's done though, you know, I'll explain myself. But at the moment, because of the disappointing video that I recorded a couple of days ago, that's just what I'm gonna say right now. But yeah, this is actually a lot more than I had done the last time I showed you, because I think the last time it was like to here. So at least now I have all the colors in here and I can show you what that looks like. Okay, that's that. Oh, the next one that I want to talk about is the one that's being housed in my little kitty cat makeup bag. Because I'm not loving this and I don't know what to do. Okay, so I have a first sock done. It's my Zauberball crazy stripy sock. The first sock is done. And the second sock, the last time I showed it to you guys, I just had the cuff. Look how much progress I made. Literally like 15 rounds. That's all I did. But I am stalling because, like I said, I'm not loving this. What do I do? Okay, I'll tell you what my plan was. This is a opal colorway, like I think it's called ivory or something like that. It's like it's an off-white neutral. And I'm holding, and I'm striping it in with my Zauberball crazy yarn. I love the Zauberball crazy. And I like the feel of the yarns. That's not a problem. But I'm not liking this combo. I did when I was working on this, but I am not loving it with this. This is actually my second pair of socks that I'm making with the Zauberball crazy yarn. I made the very first sock that I made with the Zauberball crazy. I actually used this charcoal color. So there was none of this white or ivory. It was all charcoal. And then I had some burgundy in there as like an accent. And I loved that pair. I think that sock, those socks, were maybe in my top 3 socks that I made this entire year. Like, I love those socks. I gifted it, so I don't have it with me here to show you. I guess I could put a picture. But I loved those socks so much with the charcoal that I think I'm just bummed that I didn't do this pair with the charcoal too. I think that's really what it is. I want to just do it with the charcoal. but I also don't want to rip anything back. So I am wondering if maybe I just make this sock, but I just cut the ivory out. And instead of doing the next stripe with ivory, I just do the next stripe with the charcoal and do charcoal all the way down, and then add my pop of burgundy near the toe, the way that I was going to do originally, and then just call it a day. Because I'm not really enjoying this anymore, and I really think it's because of the ivory. My heart is still thinking about the first pair of socks that I made with the charcoal, and I think that's what I want to do. So I don't know, what do you guys think? It's gonna look funky. It's gonna make the pair look a little weird because there's gonna be so many things that are different. I wonder, it makes me wonder if it's even gonna look like a pair, but at this point I kind of don't even care. I want to do it. I like the Zauberball crazy, and I want to be done with these socks, but I want it to be at least a little bit enjoyable, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to have a little bit of excitement about it. So I don't know, what do y'all think? It's gonna be weird, but also, does it really matter? Doesn't it matter more that I'm liking working with it, that I want to work on it? I don't know, that's what I think. But yeah, so those two socks are on my needles right now. I do have the Purple Circle Yarn Co. Opal Advent socks on my needles right now that I'm not going to show you today. I also have, oh yeah, this is the one I wasn't going to show you, but here we are. The chunky, colorful ones. I'm at the foot for both of those socks, or for both socks, I'm at the foot. And it's slow going, but I have a feeling, well, I hope that I'm done with these by Thanksgiving. That's kind of my goal. But I also feel kind of meh about this too. I don't know why. Why, Eunice? Why? Why are you feeling meh? I don't know. No, that's fine. This is in a bag by Mountain State Stitches. Still super cute. I still really am very happy with this purchase. Okay, and then two more. Oh, this is my garment. I have not knit a garment in ages, and I'm knitting one, and it's not for me, it's for my daughter. It's being housed in my Della snap bag, and I am making a zipper sweater light for Sam. I made her one a long time ago, and it is stinking cute. She wore it a lot, actually. Yeah, I held two fingering weight yarns together. I think it was like a Cascade Heritage yarn with a Zen Garden yarn, and it was like super soft and squishy, and she wore it a lot. She was so proud that her mom made it. She wore it a lot. It was so stinking cute. That was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And she's grown out of it since. It's definitely too short for her. Like, her arms are like right here. So this year, as the weather's getting cooler, I asked her if she wants me to make her another one of those. And she was very emphatic that yes, she does want me to make her one. And I had a feeling she wanted me to make her something because she kept asking me to make her another birthday dress. And I'm like, girl, your birthday was barely 4 months ago. Like, calm down. I have at least 6 months before I need to start thinking about your 6-year-old birthday dress. But, you know, she was like, oh, can you make me another birthday dress? Can you make me another birthday dress? I'm like, no, but I can make you something else. Like, you want me to make you something else? And she's like, yeah. Okay, anyway. The yarn that I'm using is by Sewrella. It is in her MCN base. It's the Merino Cashmere Nylon base in the colorway Nolita. It is beautiful. It is a lightly variegated, like pink, and I don't know. What is this? Pink and like a cream? Ooh, it kind of reminds me of, have you guys had those little like cream strawberry hard candies? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It tastes like strawberries and cream. But yeah, that's kind of what this colorway reminds me of. Oh, I love it. It's so soft. It's so nice. And I'm holding it double. And I have found actually that my favorite yarn to order, or my favorite way to order yarn, if I don't know what I'm going to do with it exactly, is to do fingering weight. Because you can always hold it double for a DK weight or triple for worsted. And what that also does is you can hold it together with itself, even for like a DK weight, right? And not necessarily have to alternate skeins, because with the marling that happens, it kind of blends the colorways together so that even though it's hand dyed, you don't really have to worry about like color pooling or the dye lots not matching. It just blends kind of naturally together if you're marling the yarn. So it's not a knock on DK yarn, but even back when I was knitting garments more, I still liked to order sweater quantities in fingering weight yarn because I felt like it gave me a lot more options. And especially if the yarn was not a tonal yarn, if the colorway was not a tonal color, if it was a variegated, even if it was a little bit variegated, or even if it was semi-tonal, yarn management is a thing that you have to think about. And I really don't like alternating skeins. I would rather hold it double. So that's what I'm doing here. And I finished the fold over collar, little squishy collar, and I am now on the yoke increases. So you can see how the colorway is working up. Oh, it's blowing out a little bit, but it's cute. I like it. I really like it. I really hope she loves it. And the nylon and the cashmere content is making it so lush. It's really nice. Okay, this is a pattern by Petite Knit. I don't know if I mentioned that. And this is also reminding me and really solidifying for me that I don't like knitting garments. Oh, I have been here. I started this sometime last week or the week before, and I've been here in this state for the last 5 days. I haven't touched it. All I need to do is the increases for the yoke, and then pretty much I can, once I split for sleeves and it's just the body, it's just gonna be around and around and around, and I know that I'll like that because it's just straight stockinette. I know that I'll like the finished product. I know that I'm gonna be so happy seeing Sam happy and wearing something that her mama made her. But I'm stuck here. I can't get past this. The yarn is lovely. The pattern is lovely. Even the project bag is lovely. But why do I not want to do this? Well, I know why. It's because of my next whip, which is the last thing that I have to share. It's because of this blanket. I just want to knit on this blanket, and it shows. Because look, I'm gonna get up and show you guys where I'm at. Ugh. Ta-da! Okay, I don't even know. I can't even see what's on screen and what's that. This is my jelly roll blanket, my DK weight jelly roll blanket. By KF Jones of the Bakery Bears. And it is just like colorful and squishy and snuggly, and I love it so much. It is modular in construction. It is like very potato chippy. it's just like the perfect project for me right now. So much so that I think I'm actually done with the strips. I think it's as wide as I want it to be. Originally, I was gonna have it be 15 strips wide or 15 columns wide, but I finished the 14th column earlier this morning and I think it's wide enough. I think if I add one more, it's gonna be more of like a square than a rectangle. I think the dimensions are just gonna be a little bit weird, so I just wanna keep it like this. I'm using all superwash yarn. I'm using all superwash yarn. And I'm holding either the fingering weight yarns together with itself or DK weight single. All of the details and the modifications that I made to this pattern is on my Ravelry page. And I am expecting for this to grow in length because this is garter stitch. And it's so like bouncy, like it's very bouncy and like a slinky, you know what I mean? So once I block it, and I will soak this in water. I will put it in my washing machine for like a spin cycle, and then I will lay it out flat to dry. And I have a feeling it's gonna grow because it is a superwash yarn and it is in garter. But yeah, what else was I gonna say about this? Oh, I still need to do the I-cord border, and I want to do it in this color. I was going back and forth like, oh, maybe I do it in the Swish DK, the squirrel heather that I used for my crocheted blanket, because I do think that's a nice neutral also. But I really like the like crazy variegated, like scrappy look of this, and I want to use I just want to keep that going. I bought a sweater quantity of this yarn also, so I got 4 skeins of this classic sock in the Met colorway from Sewrella's New York for Autumn in New York collection. And it's such a beautiful colorway, but here's the thing, it is a 2-ply yarn and it is not sock yarn. It's called classic sock, but there's no nylon in it. I don't know why people do that. Maybe because sock is like a weight in and of itself. But look, this is my humble request to all of you yarn dyers who may be watching. When you're naming a base, can you please only name the base with the word sock in it if we can actually use it for socks? That would be great. There was a Malabrigo base called Malabrigo Sock, and it had 0 nylon in it. And I used it to make socks anyway because I trusted the name, and it has holes in it, and I cannot wear that sock anymore. So that's just my humble request. Honestly, you could do whatever you want. And I have eyes. I can see that there's no nylon in here, which is what I've done. So, you know, I'm a big girl. I can figure it out. And with this yarn, because it's 2-ply, because there's no nylon in it, I'm not going to be making socks with this. Actually, I can make socks with this. I can hold this double with a, another fingering weight yarn that does have nylon in it. And I can make DK marled socks. Oh, ooh, maybe I do that. And I think it'll be a little bit easier to work with because I'm holding with another yarn. Maybe the 2-plyness won't really bother me that much. Anyway, okay, I digress. So I think the point that I was trying to make here is that I want to use my stash. And this yarn is a beautiful yarn, and it shouldn't just be sitting there looking pretty. I want it to be in a project. And I have enough. I've never done an I-cord border for a blanket before. So I have no idea how much yarn it's going to take up. But if it takes up more than 100 grams, which I highly doubt, but just in case, I do have more. I have 3 other skeins of it. But my plan is to wind this up and to hold it double with itself like I did for the other, I don't know, yarn that went into this blanket. I don't know if I'm trying to think. I don't know if I'm supposed to go down a needle size. I used a US 6 or 4 millimeter needle to do this blanket. And I don't know if I'm supposed to go down a needle size or up a needle size, but I think what I had read was to go up a needle size and then pick up either 3 out of every 4 stitches when doing the applied I-cord. But that just seems like a lot of thinking, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to. So I'm just going to use the same needle size and pick up every stitch. And what I'm hoping is that it'll be the same gauge, because I mean, people do an I-cord as you go, right? Like where you slip 3 stitches at the beginning of every round or something like that. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like people do that. They use the same needle size, and you know, and this is stretchy, so I don't mind if it stretches. I actually want it to. I want it to grow a little bit. So I don't know. That's my plan. That's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully it'll work out. I will keep you guys posted. I am going to make notes in my project page for how much yarn it actually takes to do an I-cord border around this blanket in case I want to do it again. And then also let you guys know what needle size I use in case that's a curiosity of yours as well. But yeah, this is actually the reason why my hands have not been reaching for my socks, because when I'm at home, I just want to work on this blanket. That's it. That's all I want to do. It's colorful and beautiful, and at night it's been cold and it's been keeping me warm, and it's squishy and I love her. So I'm hoping that the next time I see you guys, I will be done with this. And I am so excited because I already have another blanket that I want to make. It is the northeasterly blanket. I think I want to do a DK version of that too. A part of me wants to try a scrappy fingering weight, like a modular scrappy fingering weight project, maybe like a fingering weight cozy memories or something like that. But I'm also not feeling very confident that I will go through with it. I feel like it's going to take me 20 years to finish a blanket like that, and I just don't have the brain space for that kind of commitment. I also feel like it's very daunting, and I don't want to feel daunted by a project before I even begin. But because I've done DK weight blankets before, I feel like it is manageable and I will be able to do it, and I feel empowered to start one. So yeah, I think I want to do a northeasterly blanket next. I also want to make another rainbow ripple blanket, a crocheted rainbow ripple blanket, and I have 2 options for that. One of them is to use this yarn. It's by Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee. It's in Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel, color by numbers. And this is the, oh my gosh, the color name is 79, or is the color name color by numbers? I'm confused. I don't know what the colorway is. I think it's color by numbers. But anyway, I have 2 of these. And it's pretty. I bought this a long time ago, and it is a 100% acrylic yarn. And even though I have not used acrylic yarn in a while, I do think this is pretty, and I do think it'll be nice as a blanket. And at work right now in my office, it is cold in there, and it would be nice to have a lap blanket I can use in my little office wheelie chair. And when I made the rainbow ripple blanket before, a lot of you guys commented that circle blankets are great for that. Like, you fold it in half and then you lay it over your lap, and it's and it doesn't get rolled over by, you know, the little rolly parts of the chair. And I was like, oh, genius, I love that. And I think I want one of those in my office. So I have 2 of these. Each cake is almost 200 grams, so that's 400 grams. I think that'll be plenty to make a rainbow ripple blanket. But the other thing, the other yarn option that I'm thinking about is to use my non-superwash minis / scraps to make a marled version of the Rainbow Ripple blanket. So in here, in this container, are my non-superwash yarns. And I want to use them in something. I know that I don't want to mix my non-superwash yarns with my superwash yarns in a scrappy project because I want to be able to know, do I put this in the washing machine or not? Like I don't want to mix those fibers together. But I don't have a lot of non-superwash yarns anymore, enough to like make a whole blanket in like one color. I don't know, but I definitely have enough of it in total to make a pretty substantial project. Right now, what I really want to do is some kind of a blanket or maybe like a very, very large granny triangle shawl or something. I think that'll be a nice thing to keep in my office, just for warmth, right? Whenever I need it, just to throw it over me. So that's the other thing I'm thinking about. Instead of using that acrylic yarn, I feel like I'm gonna enjoy working with these and putting them to use. I have cones of Woolly Knit merino yarn, and those cones, y'all, are like 500-gram cones. There's a lot of yarn. So I'm thinking about maybe holding that all the way through. I have several colors that I could use. So yeah, that's kind of another idea I have rattling on my head. But blanket season is definitely here. I think that's the moral of the story. Blanket season is here, and I have caught the blanket bug. It is, yeah, that blanket mojo is going strong. So that's kind of why my sock knitting has taken a back seat. I ain't mad about it, but that's just where I'm at the moment. So yeah, how about you guys? How are you doing towards the tail end of the year? Are you guys gift knitting? I feel like I should be gift knitting, but I don't really feel like it. And it doesn't mean I don't love my people. I do love my people, but I just am not really in a gift knitting mood, at least not for like holiday stuff. I do kind of want to make some coasters, so that maybe I pick that up. I don't know. I'm just in a mood right now. But yeah, where are you? Are you guys like feeling all the mojo? Are you kind of in a meh mood like me? Are you knitting socks? Are you knitting blankets? Are you crocheting blankets? How are you preparing for Advent? Oof, all the questions. Pick one, answer it down below, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you're well wherever you are, whatever it is that you're up to. I hope you're having a good time doing it. And even if you're not, that's okay. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys later. Bye.